JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 17th of July 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts that we looked at this morning just to see kind of how everything is getting along and how the week is ending. But yep, before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now, jumping into the charts, now the first one I want to mention is the German DAX. To be honest, not much is happening here. This morning I talked about the same kind of scenario that I talked about yesterday, and basically we still need to see a nice good daily close above the 12,913 territory, which is the highest point of June, in order to get a little bit more excited about higher levels. Today the index is kind of trading, I would say, flat. It is slightly in the positive territory, but probably just because it kind of opened with a gap to the upside. It still remains kind of trading near this highest point of June. So let's of course keep our eyes on today's close. If we do see a nice close, a nice daily close well above this barrier, well above this June high, then yep, higher levels could be met. However, if it stays somewhere around here, well, to be honest, it's still maybe a little bit of a tricky one. So we'll just have to leave this one for next week and see if we can get something interesting in the beginning of next week. But for now, yes, we can say that overall we are still trading above this upside support line taken from the low 19th of March, which in a way kind of indicates the current direction and where the index might be heading to. But again, we will be very careful. Right now, like I said, we need that good strong move above this June high in order to aim for some higher levels. Now, jumping into NASDAQ, NASDAQ 100. So this index for this week, it is trading in the red, and you can see here. However, it still remains above this short-term upside support line, or actually, wouldn't say maybe short-term, but more of a medium-term upside support line, tentative of course, because we only have two touches here, but nevertheless we're keeping that one on our chart for now, and we can see that yes, the index so far is kind of trading above it, and in addition to that, it's also trading above the 21-day EMA here, shown as the yellow line. But also what we can see here is that the index is still kind of floating above the let me just double check, above the low of last week. So although we did get a like slight overshoot here on Wednesday, on Tuesday, it kind of still didn't close below it. So this level here, the 10,485-86 zone, roughly around here, is kind of providing decent support. And as you can see, yesterday this is where the index kind of went lower, tested this area, and kind of quickly reversed back to the upside. However, it was still not enough for the index to kind of close in the positive territory. It still ended up being in the red. Now, looking at the cash index and where it's currently balancing at, we can see that the price is currently near the 10,651.50 zone, basically just slightly above yesterday's close, but not where we would probably like it to be. Now, Ideally, as I've mentioned before, ideally, in order, let's say, to get maybe excited about higher levels again here, we would like to see a push above the high of last week here near the 10,843 territory, and then we could aim for some higher levels. Until then, we're not really doing anything here. We're just going to be probably observing the price action, because it is a little bit tricky at the same, because we had a kind of a strong decline this week and the beginning of this week. So let's see if we don't see a continuation move here lower. However, as long as the price remains above the subside support line, there is still a chance for the bulls to step in somewhere here and kind of reverse the index back to the upside. But again, for now, guys, probably we'll take a bit of a cautious approach here, although maybe overall it still looks quite positive, but yeah, we would prefer to see some confirmation breaks first. And for example, for the upside, in order to start looking at some higher levels, again, we would like to see a push above last week's high near the 10,843 territory. And in terms of the downside, we would prefer to wait for, of course, a violation of this upside line and also a drop below the high of, or should I say, the highest point of June near the 10,307 zone, and only then we could aim for some lower levels. So yeah, keep your eyes on down. Now gold. Gold is pushing back up here, and this is what I was talking about yesterday, this morning. Of course, the fact that we managed to break this upside line taken from the low of the 5th of June, and also we saw a daily close below it. Of course, what I was saying, that it increased the chances for a further push lower. However, what I was also saying, that ideally we would also need to see a drop below the 1789 territory right here before, let's say, considering further declines. And you can see that we didn't get that. We just got a reversal back to the upside. However, we're not going to really look at any higher levels until we get a break above the 1818 level, which is the high of last week. Until then, all this area right here will be somewhat of a neutral one, and basically this is going to be a valid reason, because you can see that the price is kind of ranging right now. So we will rather wait for the commodity to kind of exit the through the 1818 level in order to kind of aim for some higher levels, or to drop below the 1789 territory right here in order to kind of consider slightly lower areas right there. Bitcoin Cash now. If this morning I talked about Ethereum, and basically Ethereum was kind of indicating that it wants to move lower, Ethereum is still basically at the same spot where I have left it on in the morning, and similar stories here with Bitcoin Cash. Basically not much excitement. The only probably maybe somewhat positive thing here on Bitcoin Cash is the fact that it's still kind of trading above this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of June. However, I mean, this downside line, I mean, you can see that the crypto continues to slide, but it's just sliding along this downside line. It's not really kind of getting below it. It's just kind of sliding along this downside line. So for now, of course, we'll take a bit of a neutral stand here. We're not really going to do anything. We're just, again, also we're just going to continue observing the price action. But in order, let's say, to consider some higher levels, just to be on the safe side, we would prefer to wait for a push above the high of the 24th of June here. I talked about this level before, this 245.50 zone, and you can see that this is where last week the crypto found resistance and kind of drifted off to the downside. Yes, we would prefer to wait for a push above this level here. Ideally, a daily close as well would be nice to see, and then yes, we could aim for some slightly higher levels. In terms of the downside, we'll also take a very conservative approach and wait for a drop below the 204 zone before aiming for some downside. Now, a quick update on AUDUSD. I talked about this one. To be honest, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one, because again, the same kind of idea remains as the one that I've mentioned this morning. We need to still see a push above the 1.0675 territory. Ideally, a nice daily close would be fine here as well, in order to kind of aim for some higher levels. this whole week, we kept getting overshoots here, but we didn't really get the daily candle kind of staying above it. So that's why we would prefer to see this one the daily candle staying and closing above this 1.0675 territory before considering some higher levels. Now, US dollar against the Russian ruble. Now, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, and but it's basically quite interesting because it's presenting with nice opportunities. Sometimes it's very technical, and you can see here exactly this is what I mean. Basically, after we saw this break here above this 70.6080 territory, I spoke about this pair when it was still kind of trading below this barrier, and then we had a nice pop here. What I was mentioning that the next target for me here is the 72.6330 zone, which is previously acted as a strong area of support. Now it could play the role of resistance. It fell shy of a few kind of points of reaching that that area and then kind of drifted back down. However, it remained above this previous barrier, this 70.6080 territory. Now, at the same time, same place, we have the 100-day EMA and the 21-day EMA, which are providing support here as well, and you can see this is the effect that we're having. We're having another push higher. So yes, we will aim for some upside. Our initial target, my initial target here is the 72.6330, and but if that gets broken, then yep, higher levels could be met. So, but of course, the main focus will be on the high of last week, and also the current highest point of July, which is around the 72.3080 territory. So keep your eyes on down, and as you pop above it, could yep open door towards some higher levels. If by any chance this pair suddenly starts dropping below the 70.6080 territory, now this is where it could become quite interesting, maybe for the sellers, and maybe this scenario could be working out nicely then, where we could then aim for the lowest point of June near the 67, or even let's round it up towards the 68 zone. Now, GBPUSD, quick update here. This week I've talked about this one, but to be honest, as you can see, this week there's not much excitement here. The pair didn't really get above this 2669 level that I talked about previously. This is what I was saying, that in order to aim for some higher levels, we needed to see a nice good push above it, but we didn't get that, and the pair started drifting lower, and it is now kind of testing this 1.2543 zone, which previously acted as a good resistance. Now it's acting as a support area, and but at the same time, we do have the 100-day EMA here shown as the green line, and the 21-day EMA shown as the yellow line, kind of also providing a bit of support. So if we eventually do see this one drifting below all these EMAs and this 1.2543 territory, then yes, maybe we'll consider a bit of a larger correction to the downside, because don't forget that we are still trading above this little kind of short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of May. So in a way, it could still provide a bit of support. So that's why be very careful here, guys. It is a very annoying spot, I would say. I mean, it's really difficult at this point here to kind of let's say try and maybe predict where it could go. To be honest, it is a little bit of a tricky one here, but the way we could kind of try to at least simplify our lives is, like I said, if we do see a daily close below all these EMAs here, then well, we could aim for maybe for this little short-term upside support line taken from the low at the 18th of May, and we could take it from there, guys. And finally, Euro USD. So this pair is pushing nicely, so didn't really reach this upside line. This is what I talked about this morning. Basically what I was saying, that one of the scenarios, of course, is for this pair to drift lower, test this upside line, and if it stays intact, then we could see the bulls pushing higher. However, if it starts reversing earlier, as it is right now, then there is the possibility again for this one to push higher, but we need that kind of daily candle staying above this 1.1422 territory, which is the highest point of June. And then yes, we could get a little bit more comfortable with aiming for the highest point of this year, the current highest point of this year, near the 1.1496 level, and that's marked by the high of well, near the high, by the high of 9th of March as well. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. And that's near, like I said, near this 1.1496 zone. So again, good potential target, but ideally if we see the daily candle kind of staying above this, then next week we could aim for exactly that. Now guys, I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. Thank you. I hope you found my videos useful this whole week. Yes, so we'll have the next week in front of us, and so yeah, I hope you'll have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Stay safe, both market-wise, health-wise, and yeah, like I said, let's catch up on Monday as always in my Traders Espresso. We'll start off the day with that at 6 o'clock GMT time. But for now, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.